Radiant team ban.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, LD. I know I haven't done a Dota 2 replay commentary in a while, or any replay commentaries for that matter, but
Dire
I actually
team
have a
ban.
fantastic game for you guys. This match is between AEON and mith-trust. It was played for the Gigabyte Dota Masters. For anyone who's not familiar with that tournament, they've been having a lot of great matches. All of the top Southeast Asian teams, as well as some Chinese teams, actually,
Radiant
have
team
been
ban.
really making their presence felt, and I'm impressed. I mean, I have to say they are improving a lot. I know a lot of people were, especially I don't want to say a month ago, a lot of people were really questioning whether the Asian teams would be able to make the move over to Dota 2 and compete at a top level. But they're starting to. They're not there yet. They're certainly not as dominant as they have been in Dota 1. But they're getting there, and as they progress, as they get more familiarity with the engine,
10
more
seconds
practice with the
remaining.
limited hero pool, I expect to see them really dominating. Of course, what's also helping is a lot of
5
their favorite
seconds
heroes are
remaining.
making the transition. Syllabear,
Dire
Panda,
team ban.
Lycanthrope, heroes like this that are very popular, especially in China, and to a lesser degree in Southeast Asia. But definitely making the transition a little bit easier for those teams. If you haven't noticed yet, I got a new microphone. I'm hoping it's better. One thing it does well is it doesn't pick up all the background noise from my keyboard. I got a
Radiant
lot of
team
complaints about that
ban.
to the point where I was just like, pulling my hair out with frustration. Uh, like, "Argh!" Just so tired of people complaining about it. So hopefully the new mic fixes it. Of course, it was annoying for them as well. So for their sake, I'm sure they'll be pleased. Hopefully, I still sound good. I am actually waiting on a pair of audio cables so I can plug in the headphone or the microphone into my USB audio card. So
10
for now, it's
seconds
plugged straight into my
remaining.
computer. If the quality's not perfect, it will get a little bit better, but
5
let me know if you
seconds
have any
remaining.
feedback. Also, with the audio levels, I've been getting a lot of complaints about that in terms
Reserve
of
time.
volume not being equal with co-casters. That shouldn't be an issue anymore, guys. If it is, when I do my
Dire
next
team
co-cast, let me
pick.
know. Anyway, let's talk about this game. We're seeing a lot of bans coming out here. Actually, a reasonably quick draft. Only 3 seconds of total bonus time between both teams was used on the part of AEON. In terms of what was banned, well, really nothing unusual. 3 strong pushing heroes in the Prophet, the Lycanthrope, and of course the Chen. 3 strong solo laners between and lane controllers between the Invoker, the Shadow Demon,
Radiant team
and the
pick.
Windrunner. Nothing too surprising. A pretty balanced standard draft. Darkseer first pick. That's a little interesting though. When I see this Darkseer first pick, the first thing I notice is they also banned Shadow Demon. The nice thing about this is Shadow Demon can counter Darkseer pretty hard in the laning stage. If he pops a Surge, you just immediately disrupt him if you're trying to gank him. If he later on in the game, once you hit level 6, if you have Demonic Purge up, you can
10
purge him as soon as he
seconds
surges.
remaining.
And he's going to be moving really slowly. He'll be very easy to pick off. Of course,
5
Darkseer is pretty
seconds
naturally tanky,
remaining.
but Soul Catcher helps you to deal with that as well, because you can do a bunch of bonus damage to him, and it's pure damage. So even if he
Reserve
goes for
time.
Hood or Pipe, Shadow Demon is still going to be able to bring him down pretty quickly with the help of his team. So from that perspective, the Shadow Demon ban makes a lot of sense. Shadow Demon has not been the most banned hero, especially in Dota 1. I don't know if you guys were watching it back then. Back then, I mean like 4 or 5 months ago, but Shadow Demon was an absolute top pick, top ban for a couple of months. And really, not too much has changed in the game. I
Hinge
think teams have just
reserve
started to figure
time.
out that he is a very situational hero.
Radiant
He doesn't have
team
much team
pick.
fight contribution. And he, at the same time, he really wants levels compared to other supports because you want to max Soul Catcher, you want to max Disruption, and hey, normally maxing Shadow Poison is going to be pretty good. So for that reason, he is pretty level dependent, and he doesn't contribute as much in the mid to late game. That's, in my opinion, why we haven't been seeing him as
Dire
much.
team pick.
Earthshaker and Enchantress are the picks. This gives a very strong 1-2 punch early on for aggressive roaming. Batrider in this
Dire
reply.
team
Huh,
pick.
I have not seen much Batrider, man. I'm excited about this pick. To be honest, Batrider is probably the most dominant solo laning hero in Dota 1. I mean, you could argue that heroes like Shadow Demon or Invoker, Windrunner perhaps are up there, but Batrider almost always wins his lane in
10
Dota 1,
seconds
especially
remaining.
in the hands of a top player. I love to see him soloing. I love to see him getting the
5
fast levels, the
seconds
fast
remaining.
EXP, getting a fast Blink Dagger. I'm really hoping we're not going to see a Batrider in the Suicide lane. Of
Radiant
course, they have a
team pick.
Darkseer who could do that as well. So I think we're actually going to see a Batrider that gets a decent lane and has a chance to get some levels, get some farm, hopefully win his lane, and then go crazy with ganks. Now, that's not to say I'm rooting for mith-trust, but hey, they picked Batrider, so they're already pretty badass in my eyes for this commentary anyway. Ancient Apparition is the third pick. Not any true hard stuns here. Of course, you have the Batrider Flaming Lasso, but you're lacking in
10
terms of
seconds
single
remaining.
target reliable disables. I mentioned the
5
lasso.
seconds
Batrider has to have a
remaining.
blink before he can count on using that. And even then, he's blinking into the middle of the enemy team most of the time. So
Reserve time.
he's putting himself in a bit of danger. If I were AEON, I would think about getting a carry that's very hard to lock down. Because right now, the way that mith-trust lineup is looking, they've already picked up 3 of their sort of team fight, crowd control heroes, and they're going to go for anti-mage. I like this pick a lot.
Dire team
As
ban.
I was starting to talk about, there aren't many single target disables. There's not really any reliable stuns. Cold Feet is not very effective against anti-mage, unless you have something to pair it with. And right now, Flaming Lasso and Vacuum, they're nice, but anti-mage is probably going to be able to blink away before you can drop those, at least until Batrider gets his Blink Dagger. I don't normally like watching anti-mage, but I have to agree with this pick. I think it's a very smart one. We're waiting for the second round of bans here, so while we're doing that, I've talked a little bit about mith-trust lineup. Let's talk about AEON's lineup. What do they really have going for them? Well, what they have is that they're very strong in the early game. Earthshaker is one of the best level 1 supports defensively because Fissure is just so good at helping allies to escape. It's also a pretty good offensive spell if you can land it properly. You get a nice Fissure block, you couple that with an Enchantress ganking. Let's say she has a Centaur or an Ursa, or even a Dark Troll Warlord. That's going to be an easy kill. So, of course, Anti-Mage, normally thought of as a late game carry, he actually does a decent amount of damage early on. Mono Burn hurts. So if you combo the Anti-Mage with an Enchantress gang, let's say the Earthshaker is smoked up with her and they both roam in, that could be an easy kill. Once you get a kill or two, that's going to make it a lot easier for Anti-Mage to have a good time. So I like their picks, but at the same time, they are pretty squishy. They don't have too much in the way of team fight. Sure, Earthshaker's nice in theory, but if he's being played as a hard support, which it looks like he will be, at least so far, he's not going to have the easiest time getting a Blink Dagger. Earthshaker also has trouble against Batrider. If you've ever played Earthshaker, you will know what I mean. But if you haven't, let me clue you in. So the way that Batrider works, his sticky napalm slows down your cast rate. And Earthshaker already has a ridiculous windup before he casts. I mean, he wants to lift the totem over his head, he flexes his muscles a little bit, he spins around a few times, and then he finally drops Fissure. And that's without sticky napalm being applied to him. Once you apply the sticky napalm, you're looking at, I'm not even joking, probably a full second to cast a Fissure. And of course, you can cancel that cast animation if you're quick about it with a Vacuum, with a Flaming Lasso, with a Flame Break. You can't really cancel it with a Cold Feet, but who knows, if the timing's right, maybe that'll help too. So this Earthshaker could have a tough time against Batrider. It depends how the early game goes, of course. But in my experience, when playing Earthshaker versus a Batrider, especially when it was a good start, is not fun at all. In terms of the rest of the bans, mith-trust banning a lot of pretty strong early game heroes. Interested to see the Night Stalker ban, as I think he would fit in really well to their lineup. Of course, if they went for a Night Stalker, they would not have the best late game. But the silence, the ganking power. Night Stalker is one of the few heroes that early on is not really afraid to tower dive at all. I mean, he's got really high base armor, he's got good strength gain. And against Anti-Mage, you want to be able to tower dive because inevitably he's going to be blinking away. Night Stalker can also run him down. And of course, that silence and the slow are very good for securing kills. So I would have liked to see Night Stalker on their team, but they're going to ban him and go for a Weaver instead. Now the Night Stalker ban makes a lot of sense. Weaver is hard countered by that silence. He's very reliant on his spells. Sure, he's got that, what is it called? He's got his passive, oh man, brain fart big time. Geminate Attack. Yeah, he's got Geminate Attack, but aside from that, all of Weaver's survivability and most of his damage actually comes from spells. At least until he gets 1 or 2 big items up, which, hey, that's not happy until 30-40 minutes most games. So with that being said, I mean, the Weaver would have a tough time against Night Stalker. Also would have a tough time against Puck. The silence is, again, very strong versus Weaver. So I like that ban as well. In terms of the Radiant, I'm a little curious if they ban the Morphling. Only because Anti-Mage is normally a decent counter to the Morphling. Of course, this assumes equal farm. But once Anti-Mage gets some items up, maybe gets some Manta style, Morphling does not have fun because Morphling has 4 active abilities, very reliant on casting. And of course, Anti-Mage is a great counter to that because he burns your mana and he's very fast. Also, a lot of Morphling's damage is spell-based, especially in the early to mid-game. An Anti-Mage's Spell Shield will make that not too much of an issue. Leshrac is going to be the 4th pick here, coming out for the Radiant. Gives them some really strong pushing power. So it looks like they're going for some early towers. Enchantress plus Leshrac gives you a lot of pushing power. If they get the early towers, it opens up the map. It creates space for Anti-Mage to farm. The Dire, mith-trust, looks like they're going a little bit more teamfight oriented. Weaver, sure, you might think of him as just a right-click single target carry, but he's actually a pretty decent team fighter because he has the Swarm, and of course you're coupling that with the Darkseer, fantastic team fighter with that vacuum into the Wall of Illusion, plus the Ancient Apparition. And I was just about to say, I think they need a reliable stun, and maybe a little bit more team fight, and who better to pick for that than Sandcade? Well, maybe Earthshaker, but he's out of the pool anyway. So, Sandcade is going to be the pick. I like this pick a lot. They could combo the Ancient Apparition with the Sand King if they want to. I'm trying to think how they're going to lane it. We might see a Weaver tri-lane with the Ancient Apparition and the Sand King, a Batrider mid, a Darkseer Suicide lane. We could also see a jungle Darkseer, and then a Batrider and I guess it would be an Ancient Apparition soloing, or maybe a Weaver soloing, and then Ancient Apparition Sand King dual lane. So they have some flexibility in terms of their lanes. I personally think they might be better off with the tri-lane, just because Weaver is actually pretty strong solo, and what you can do is you can roam the two tri-lane heroes. So I'm a little curious how they're going to play it, actually. I feel like freeing up those two supports to roam would be really nice. If you put Darkseer in the jungle, he's such a strong solo laning hero, and he's so hard to kill, that you're wasting a pretty big opportunity, in my opinion, to have that Ancient Apparition and the Sand King free to roam. And I say free to roam, I mean, sure, Weaver's not the strongest lane controlling hero, but he's very hard to kill. And against any of these Radiant heroes, he should be fine in the early game. In terms of the Radiant lineup, they pick a Bounty Hunter, so they now have an Anti-Mage and a Bounty Hunter. Normally, I would look at this lineup and think, man, that's kind of a pubby lineup. You know, it's a lot of farm, it's a lot of weak early lane control. But the Bounty Hunter is actually a pretty smart pick. I'm actually going to have to move it off a directed, so avert your eyes if you don't want to see.
Prepare for battle.
If you don't want to, see the length of the replay. With all that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to introduce the players here. We have 3NU playing that Darkseer. No idea how to pronounce that. Playing the Batrider. R5 on the Sand King. TNK on the Ancient Apparition. It's going to be a support Ancient Apparition. Weaver being played by Akels. It is Akels, right? No, Lake LZ, sorry. I actually have cast mith-trust before and I've gotten their names right, but this was not a lucky day for me. But while we're waiting, there is a pause. I believe it's decently long, so I might have fast forward. We'll give it like 30 seconds while I introduce AEON here. We're going to have Nuts handling that Enchantress, the King, going to be playing Bounty Hunter. Hulk Smash, going to be playing that Anti-Mage. That's a badass name. Hang KY on the support Earthshaker, and Ken, starting with the Magic Wand, looks like they want him to lane against the Batrider. Huh, that's a little odd. Leshrac does not really want to lane against Batrider, in my opinion. Of course, Batrider will normally be close to you, but Edict is not going to hit as hard as a Bat with a couple of sticky napalms. As well as that Firefly going over you, and I think this pause is reasonably long, so I'm actually going to go ahead and fast forward. Alright guys, we are back. Sorry about that delay. I will edit that pause out of the replay, but with all that being said, we're back into the game. I wanted to talk about the Bounty Hunter pick. It looks like we might have a level 1 engagement. I want to say this favors the Dire. Batrider's not the strongest level 1 hero, but aside from that, they're all pretty good. Ion Shell does a lot of damage. Weaver is fantastic at level 1. Bounty Hunter going to be scouting things out. Very smart play by AEON, so this is going to keep them safe. We're not going to see any kills. Oh, so I want to talk about Bounty Hunter. He's actually, I like the choice. We're probably going to see a very early game oriented Bounty Hunter. He'll look for, as we do see action initiation coming out from Anti-Mage, blinking it aggressively. He might be in for some trouble. Oh no, actually, R5 in a little bit of danger here. Cold Feet going out on Leshrac. Who's going to drop first? Salve up from the Sand Cave. Yeah, this fight is all over the place. Darkseer with the level 1 Surge. No Ion Sheller. They would have had this kill already. Weaver chasing Leshrac onto the tower. Is he going to get the first blood? Salve up. Lakes not going to be able to Shikuchi up. Lakes is the first blood. Man, that's normally not something you see. Normally Weaver is the one you can't kill early on. Oh, nice Fissure Blockade Apparition. He's in a lot of trouble too. He's on the retreat, gets enchanted, but immediately surged out, but he's running basically nowhere. Hulk Smash could be cleaning him up momentarily. Count on the retreat as well. Looks like we're going to see 3 deaths at least. That should be the end of it. I say it should, but the Kane wants a little bit more. 2-1 in favor of the Radiant, and they got first blood. Definitely a big victory for them. Man, that was a very odd engagement to say the least. Weaver so close to getting that kill. If Darkseer had gotten Ion Shell at level 1, I don't know if he skilled it before the fight. That's something I didn't get to check. But if he had gotten Ion Shell at level 1, Weaver definitely would have gotten first blood there. He might have dropped, but then it would have been a more even engagement. So this is why you always hold that skill point in reserve, folks. Wow, we're going to see a Sand King Batrider dual lane? No, it looks like Batrider's going to rotate out. Oh, just to finish my point about the Bounty Hunter. I think we'll see a very early game oriented bounty hunter. We'll probably pick up really cheap items, like a drum, maybe a medallion. Go for some early ganks. Urn would be good too. You have anti-mage as your late game carry. So I think that would be the smart way to play it. Darkseer going to be on the bottom lane. I like this choice. Darkseer is quite strong against anti-mage. Anshell doing a lot of damage. You can see what a nuisance it is to lane against that Darkseer. Even if you're anti-mage, and he's normally pretty good in those situations. Weaver actually taking a lot of harassment from Bounty Hunter. This is a fairly difficult lane for Weaver unless he gets Sentry Ward. But not if Bounty Hunter gets ganked. Cold Feet, Burrow Strike. Will there be any detection? No detection needed. He goes down to the Sakuchi plus the right click. Nice gank coming out from mith-trust. I like this tri-lane. This is very strong. Bounty Hunter is normally pretty annoying in lane because he can windwalk and then come out and right click you. So most melee heroes, when they're in lane, they don't want to run up to you if you're ranged, even if you got shorter range like Weaver, because they have to take a lot of harassment to do it. And then when they're running away, they'll take even more harassment. But in this case, when you're bounty hunting your windwalk, you can walk up to the enemy hero. You don't have to take any harassment. Then you come out of invis, you do a lot of damage. So even for ranged here, bounty hunter can be a tough matchup. But with the support of this tri-lane, I say tri-lane as Sandcade rotates towards mid, so it's not going to stay that way. Should work out okay. AEON is smoked up. They're going to be going for the DD here. 3NU used his haste, or used the surge. He's probably in trouble. DD on the bounty hunter, who's just abandoned that top lane. Interesting choice. 3NU surge coming off cooldown in 1 second. Salves up. He's going to be able to get away. Nicely played by him. That fissure block was not the best, unfortunately. Trapped. Forced bounty hunter to run around the long way. If the fissure had been just a little bit better, it would have trapped 3NU in. But of course, he was about to get the DD rune, so it was a frantic situation. Unfortunately, it did not work out for him. Ababa gonna be maybe getting ganked off here. DD Bounty Hunter, this is something to be very afraid of, and he's gonna sit on the high ground. Oh, the King gets the courier, that would be totally worth it. He's gonna get the courier, now they're gonna go on Ababa. I don't think they're gonna get this kill. Big Split Earth coming out, Edict doing the damage as well. Firefly, no salve on the... Oh, he's gonna go back in, I don't agree with this choice. Oh no, he's just kidding, he's kiting him a little bit. That was close though. Oh, the courier's so low, almost going down to the tower. Man, the courier might curl. The couriers are not long for this world in this game, is what I'm trying to say. So, I was talking in the pregame about this tri-lane top. And I like it to shut down the enemy here, give the Weaver some good farm. But now that you see the lane is abandoned, you don't need to leave 3 heroes there. I'd like to see them smoke up. They do have a smoke on the Sand King. Maybe look for some early game aggression. Normally I would not check the gold this early, but because it's been such a ridiculously back and forth action-packed game, I'm going to do it early. We actually see, wow, 1500 gold lead. That is huge this early on. That's 50%. And more importantly, it means tons of basic items going to be up a little bit faster for the Radiant. As I'm already finding myself parched, it's only 4 minutes into the game. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a very, very, very tough game. Initiation on the middle lane. Ken gets Burrow Strike. Firefly doing tons of damage. 4 sticky napalm stacks. He's going to go down. Edict hurting R5 quite a bit, but he'll be okay. Did not even use the smoke there. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Darkseer has an invis rune. Going to be using that just to get a little bit of EXP. A nice pickup for him. I like the job that 3NU is doing here of trying to control the runes. Batrider is not the strongest rune controller, so he needs some help. And I say he's not a strong rune controller. That's because he doesn't have much mobility. Sure, he's very good at harassing his lane opponent, but anyone with a blink or any sort of mobility skills will be able to get there. He also, Batrider does not push that hard. If he uses Firefly, he does, but you don't want to waste Firefly just to push the lane. At least not as a general rule, and you're up against the Shrek, so... I like the decision by Darkseer to leave the lane here and there, help control the runes. AEON has an Enchantress, so frankly they should be able to do the same thing. You don't even have to send a hero, you can just send one of your creeps and use it to scout the runes. So, it looks like there's going to be more action on the middle lane. The King is just not even trying. This is going to mean a very farm Weaver. 26 creeps in 5 minutes, quite strong. Ababa getting initiated on, but the timing is not there at all. The King just telegraphing that gank, he's going to be backing off. Enchantress now heading in for some offensive jungling. Will she run into the Sand King is the question. Sand King going for a very standard ganky build, which is max Sandstorm, max Burrow Strike. No points of Caustic Finale, we'll maybe see 1 or 2 later on. Because the Enchantress has left the bottom lane, that frees up Darkseer. And normally a melee hero has a tough time against anti-mage, because if you walk near him, you're going to get mono burn. But Darkseer does not give a rat's ass, or a rat's rear end, I should say, about that, because he's got that mono burn. Speaking of that anti-mage, rushing the broadsword, he's going for a very fast Battle Fury. Up to 32 creeps, 24 on the Leshrac, 30 on the Weaver, 15 on the Darkseer. I mean, overall, the farm favoring the Radiant a little bit. And you don't really want to trade farm with an anti-mage, certainly not with the Weaver. Weaver's a nice late game hero, but he's not as strong as the anti-mage. And you also have to keep in mind anti-mage will be getting that bonus gold from track. I like the Bounty Hunter pick is also nice in that respect. If you have another carry, and he gets any sort of track bonus gold, then he's looking really fat. Especially with the Battle Fury Rush. If this anti-mage does not get ganked, or he's not forced to defend early on, he's going to be extremely fat. I may actually have to pause the replay and get more water at some point. Of course, you guys won't have to worry about that in the cast, or in the recording, but anyway, back to the game. Firefly on the middle lane. Fissure, looks like a Fissure block was failed here, or didn't really matter, because Singin just sort of walked up towards the rune. Nothing doing there. What's Lake's gonna go for? Or Lake LZ gonna go for is the question. Or Lakel's? It's probably Lakel's, isn't it? Well, whatever it is. What is Lakel's gonna go for is my question. He's already got 1,000 gold. Sometimes we see a Vanguard. I don't think a Vanguard would make much sense. I personally would sit in the Rain of Health and see if you can farm the Relic. That sounds kind of crazy, but I mean, he's being left in a completely empty lane here. Bounty Hunter's roaming around, but he's not having a great time. He's only level 4, and he's the strongest ganker the Radiant have. Oh, initiation onto Batrider. He might be in for some trouble. Gonna juke down the hill. Back up again. Ken is blocking him up, ushering him away. Nice jukes coming out from Ababa. Gonna be completely safe here. And gonna immediately go back up and down. Man, such an obnoxious play from the Batrider. 3 heroes not able to bring him down. This is where you really want a hero with a blink or some reliable stuns, which, you know, Split Earth, not the most reliable stun in the world. I like the Rina Basili's choice here. He should really turn it on so he can push the tower. If you're ever in a situation where you have an empty lane, you want to be leaving that Rina Basilis on when you have a good creep wave. It'll allow you to push, and this puts pressure on the enemy. You want to punish them for leaving the lane empty. Speaking of leaving the lane empty, Weaver level 7, Bounty Hunter only level 4. Yeah, he got that one. He made those attempts for kills early. He's done okay, but roaming Bounty Hunter, not the strongest Bounty Hunter. Especially when you don't have the best killing. Essentially, they got the 1 kill mid. Bounty Hunter still being mostly shut down, just sitting on the boots. Looks like they're really trying to keep Ababa down, at the expense, of course, of the Darkseer and the Weaver. It is a trade-off. It's not a bad trade-off, though. Batrider's not a hero you want to give a good start to. Right now, he's just got the bottle and the boots. Anything on the Crow, just a magic wand. Yeah, so not going to see any fast blink daggers this time around. Such strong pushing power from AEON. This is really where their strength is. Get that Enchantress with the, 1 set of creeps, as well as the Skeleton Warriors, which she's not microing right now. Net coming out of Batrider. Split Earth to follow. No impetus yet from Enchantress. Or Batrider would be completely dead. He's going to be fine, though. Forced to pop the Firefly. Fails on the deny. Nice last hit by Leshrac. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Bounty Hunter in a lot of trouble. No, he's just going to get out of Cold Feet range. He will be okay as well. 2 towers going down. I have to say that trade slightly favors AEON. Oh. Bounty Hunter also got the deny on that top tower. Yeah, so it definitely favors them. Plus, more importantly, you're killing a mid tower. A mid tower is more important for Roshan and for map control in general. Towers on the top lane are nice, but they're generally less important. Or the least important on the map, I should say. So Lakel's, I'm sorry to call him Lake LZ. I'm almost positive it's Lakel's now that I think about it. He's got the agility treads online. He's going to be pushing this tower top lane. Bounty Hunter picking up a pretty late bottle, 9.5 minutes in. I would do the same thing in this situation. I get flamed a lot for it, but frankly, you know, you need some regen. Otherwise, you go for 1 gank and then you have to head back to base. And so I like the bottle pickup, even though he's not getting runes now. Once he leaves his lane, he'll have an opportunity to. Because he can walk around invis, he doesn't have to worry about getting caught. Speaking of getting caught, Lakel's going to be in a little bit of trouble here, but he'll just walk behind the trees, wait for that fissure block to end. Of course, he does have Ancient Apparition, and Sand King waiting in the wings. Surprisingly, not as much action as I thought there would be in this game. I mean, it's a lot of strong early game heroes. Batrider strong early, Sand King strong early, Ancient Apparition pretty strong when comboed early. Weaver is actually one of the strongest early chasing carries in the game. Even better than Morphling, and Morphling is certainly a powerful net card. For the Radiant side, I mean, Earthshaker's pretty defensive, and Anti-Mage is not the most aggressive hero, but still, these 3 are pretty offensive. So I'm a little surprised at the lack of action. Who does that favor? Well, you gotta say it favors the Radiant. Sure, Weaver's getting farm, but Anti-Mage getting absolute free farm, almost has a Battle Fury. This is gonna be one of the fastest Battle Furies I've ever seen. I honestly cannot believe they've made no effort to gank it. Speaking of that, apparently he's worried about getting ganked. He blinks off. Of course, if we take a look at the Fog of War, Well, hold that thought for just 1 second. Fissure coming out in the top lane. Weaver going to be okay. Yeah, if you take a look at the map right now, the Radiant really don't have very good vision. This is the Radiant vision. So they have no idea who's in the jungle. The two heroes up here, the Sand King and the Chat Person, they didn't see. So for all they knew, there were bunch of heroes ganking bottom. Speaking of ganking bottom, Anti-Mage in a little bit of trouble. Sticky Napalm's not going to hit. He gets Surge. Oh, nice net to follow. Doing the damage, but will it be enough? I don't think so. Batrider actually going to be the one who has to run away. Hulk Smash, thinking of chasing. No, he's going to blink back to the lane. So in the end, a totally failed gank. Because my alarm clock goes absolutely crazy. And I'm actually just going to have to turn my phone off because it won't stop beeping at me. Like, my phone has a mute function, but for some reason the alarm clock just ignores it, even if it's muted. I guess it's smart, you know, if you're sleeping and you accidentally have your phone muted. Don't want to sleep through the alarm. But in this case, a little distracting. So anyway, distraction is gone. We're back into the game. Anti-Mage 66 creeps in 12 minutes. Of course, ridiculous farm. Weaver is matching him, but look at Weaver's items. You know, he's not rushing early game farm items. Oh, a little bit of danger here for Bounty Hunter. No, he's going to be okay. Not enough damage to take him out. H Apparition is level 6 now. And of course, Sand King should be hitting level 6 shortly. I think the Sand King needs to sit down and just farm. He's been roaming a lot, but they're at a point in the game where he's going to need to get a Blink Dagger. They've been reasonably effective early game, but they haven't been dominant. And once an Anti-Mage has a fast Battle Fury, and when I say fast, I cannot emphasize enough, this is a ridiculously fast Battle Fury. There's 10 creeps per minute, or excuse me, 8 creeps per minute. And he's getting, what is it, 68? That's, I would say, 5? A little more than 5 creeps per minute Anti-Mage is getting right now. So he's getting 5 out of 8, and he's doing it up against the Darkseer. That's really impressive farm. Of course, he is getting harassed a lot. The Battle Fury makes him very squishy early on. But we see a Surge on the Batrider. He's got the lasso up again. Runs back in range, but of course, that's going to give Anti-Mage a chance to blink away. I say that, will he blink out? He will blink out. It's still being Surged, just the Batrider. Man, this combo, it seems strong on paper, but it's not getting anything done. Darkseer has the mana for a vacuum. He's probably going to have to use it. Should vacuum them all away. Nope, not going to. Bounty Hunter shows up. This is a really bad fight for mith-trust. Vanguard was picked up on Darkseer, but it's not going to matter. He's just trying to lead them away. Sand King coming in. Will we see a big epicenter? Only a 1 hero Burrow Strike there. Looks like a hero clicked it. They are going to get the Anti-Mage. Not a bad trade, but also not the most amazing trade either. And they did use an epicenter for that after all. 2 kills, now it's looking reasonable. Huge chase coming in. Earthshaker with a big Echo Slam, but Weaver time lapses out of it. I say a big Echo Slam, it would have been big, but nice reactions by the Weaver there. I'd say a pretty even trade, slightly favoring the Dire there. But you did use the Batrider ultimate, use the Sand King ultimate, so it's not like you're getting these kills for free. I'm pretty sure the Sand King hero clicked, or hero targeted that Burrow Strike. This is something you generally do not want to do. Speaking of what you don't want to do, you don't want to tank the tower with Bounty Hunter in the area. He's going to be happy to collect that gold. Bounty Hunter up to level 7, even though he was in a horrible lane early on. You look at him right now, he's got 9 creeps, but he's still level 7. Pretty much matching everyone on mith-trust, even the heroes that are doing well. Which is to say, everyone is doing pretty well. So overall, advantage has to be going in the way right now of AEON, I would say, as I keep on clicking on a button. Gold graph, pretty even, that's not a big deal. Fissure block not going to work on Darkseer. He's going to be able to skate out. It was pretty close though. But the advantage, just because that Anti-Mage has a Battle Fury, and sure they killed him once, but if he's smart, he'll just head to the jungle, pick up that poor man's shield. Or actually, he doesn't really need it if he's jungling, but he's got the Stout Shield, so he can just sit in the jungle, right-click creeps for 5 minutes, have Treads and a Vitality Booster, another 5 more minutes, have your Yasha, another minute or 2. At that point, probably have your Mance down. At that point, you're pretty much unkillable. So it's up to, at this point, the pressure is on mith-trust. They really have to keep Anti-Mage down or make his team pay for letting him farm. Speaking of punishing him, they are smoked up. This is exactly what they need to be doing. I love this play from mith-trust. The question is, will they be able to get in range? Are we going to see a Surge on Sand King? No, we're not. Burrow Strike to initiate. Cold Feet to follow. Ancient Apparition ultimate. Great chain stun. Great chain nuking coming out from mith-trust, and it's going to be an easy kill for them. Well, I said advantage AEON, but that's only if the Anti-Mage gets the farm, and right now he's not. Wildkin tried to be a nuisance here. I like this ninja Wildkin tactics coming out. This guy belongs in the Karate Kid, perhaps, rather than a game of Dota. Of course, the trade looks to be going the other way. Ken, with that Edict, going to be trying to damage the tower. TP'ing out. He might get stunned. He might get stunned. Oh, he just gets stunned, but there's no follow-up. Actually, Looks like R5 is going to be the one who's throwing. Nice guessing there from Ken. Is he going to get this kill? That was a huge blind stun. I say blind because Sandcane was still faded from that sandstorm. Ken was just guessing there. Really playing like a Street Fighter pro right now. That was impressive. In the end, not quite enough to get a kill. Looks like Courier coming out with some dust, as well as someone's phase boots. Those are probably going to be the little Shreks. Yep. He's got an Ogre X, going for a Mithril Hammer, rushing the BKB. Against this dire lineup, there's really not much of an answer for BKB. Weaver is not really that much physical damage until he gets a damage item. And aside from that, this is all magical damage, these three guys right here. And Darkseer, yeah, he's got the Ion Shell. It's decent magical damage. And he's got the wall, which is physical, but not reliable. So this Leshrac is going to be very difficult to bring down in team fights. I want to take a look at Weaver. Oh, I don't like to see this at all. He's rushing looks like a Lincoln Sphere. Lincoln Sphere is a nice item if you have better late game and you can get it quickly, as it'll make you very hard to kill and allow you to farm. But you're up against Anti-Mage with Battle Fury. Big vacuum in. HF Apparition ult did hit in that fight. Will Ken go down is the question. Oh my god, Echo Slam doing a lot of damage. Edict as well. That looked like a great fight there for mith-trust, but in the end, AEON just too strong with that Edict, plus the Echo Slam, plus the Fissure. A lot of magical damage. Initiation on the Anti-Mage. He might go down again. Cold Feet. Batrider ultimate used as well. Epicenter. A bunch of ultimates being dropped, but totally worth it to kill off that Anti-Mage. I say totally worth it, and earlier I was saying maybe, you know, and it was an expensive kill, so you might be wondering, well, why is he saying totally worth it now, and he was saying too expensive earlier? Well, the reason is your Weaver's going for a very late game build, so if that's the case, then any kills you can get on the Anti-Mage to slow him down become very much worth it. Wow, this catapult is huge. What is this with this selection box? Some sort of crazy bug. Well, I haven't checked the gold graph too much recently. I also have not checked item progression at all, which is shame on me. Let me do that just 1 second. So you can see the gold graph here. Nothing too remarkable. In terms of item progression, phase boots up on Bounty Hunter. Actually, those were for Bounty Hunter, not for Leshrac. Leshrac with a 18-minute BKB. If I'm the Radiant right now, I group up as 4. I have everyone, you know, maybe smoke and go for a big team fight on the back of this BKB. Leshrac should be able to kill everyone or do a ton of damage. If you catch anyone out, it's free kills. And then of course you have Anti-Mage farming, split pushing, which he doesn't want to be team fighting right now. Looks like we're about to have initiation on the Weaver. Perseverance is not going to help you here, my friend. He should be able to get out with time lapse if he wants to. No, he's just gonna time lapse is out. Doesn't want to take that damage. Nice net from Enchantress. No track. Track was on cooldown. Looks like Batrider's going to do a bit of jungle. He's getting very close to his Blink Dagger. Speaking of Blink Daggers, how close is Sand King? He's still 1,000 gold away, but you only need 1 to start, and that'll give them some really good initiation. I haven't looked much at map control, so let's take a look at the Fog of War here. If we sort of just draw a line, looks like the line is here. So pretty even, actually. It really shouldn't be even. Honestly, the Dire have the stronger heroes at this stage of the game. But you're up against Anti-Mage with the Battle Fury. You're also up against some pushing heroes, and Leshrac and Enchantress, so it's not too surprising. Ken in a little bit of trouble. He's got the BKB. Not the best hero to focus. Fissure not going to hit. Sand King going to be surged away. Darkseer doesn't have surge. Split Earth hits him. Looks like Anti-Mage can pick up that kill. Oh, the ult gets cancelled, but he's still in range. He's going to clean it up in the end.
Thou payest dearly.
That was the 10-second BKB charge. Not a great trade, but hey, I'll take it if I'm on mith-trust. I guess they didn't see the BKB. Maybe they thought they could chain stun him before he used it. Probably should have waited for the Batrider with the Blink Dagger there. Of course, it's easy to second guess. But, you know, this is the power of that BKB. There is the Batrider ult. I forgot about that. But that will go through the BKB, but still. You're not going to be doing any damage to him while he's in it. Especially not until Weaver gets items. Speaking of that Weaver, he's got the Ultimate Orb. Lincoln's going to be up probably around the 23-24 minute mark at this rate. But you're looking at an Anti-Mage who's got his power traits or a Vitality Booster. As well. Batrider going for a little bit of a tree stab here, so Ninja Bat to go with that Ninja Wildkin from earlier. He had the Blink Dagger, but he just tried to walk in. I'm not sure about that choice. Weaver comes in as well. Flamebreak not going to latch, or not going to hit anything. Everyone going to back off. I say everyone going to back off. Your Bounty Hunter picks up a DD. He's going to head mid. Bounty Hunter really not ganky that much. I have to say, he's 2-1-3. I mean, he's been doing okay, but he hasn't been finding as many openings as you would like to see him. Speaking of that that Bounty Hunter, he has picked up his drum, so you know, 2-1-3. This is a power Batrider. 30 creeps. Normally that would be atrocious farm, but because he's getting that track bonus gold, he's going to be sitting pretty. With the drums, this is what I was talking about. Just go for those early cheap items. You want to be sort of the mid-game presence that sets up Bounty Hunter, or excuse me, sets up the Anti-Mage to carry in the late game. And Anti-Mage is certainly equipped to do so with such a fast Battle Fury. I say fast, but you know, it was a 12-minute, 13-minute Battle Fury, and since then he hasn't really added anything. The farm has not been great, but now with the power treads up, I would like to see a Vitality booster, just cheap survivability, and then go for a Manta style. He might rush the Manta. It really depends on how much he's getting ganked, but he's been under a decent amount of pressure. And with Batrider having a blink, you gotta be very concerned about getting ganked. Speaking of ganks, looks like AEON wants to go for one of their own. Weaver gonna Sakuchi away. Should be okay for now. Yeah, Weaver is very hard to bring down, but you know, if Bounty Hunter ever shows up and gets the track off, you can time lapse out of the track, but then you're time lapsing, and that's one of your big survivability mechanisms, or survival mechanisms, out the window. Mith-trust, everyone grouped up. Very passive play from both teams. I mean, you're up against an Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury. Sure, he was shut down a little bit after buying that, but he's not going to be shut down for long, so they got to get something going here. I mean, maybe they're waiting for the Weaver to get his Lincolns, maybe they're waiting for the Sand King to get his dagger. Speaking of getting something going, they might get something going here. Anti-Mage wandering into Batrider, dispels the smoke. I don't think anyone saw each other. The chase going out on Darkseer. Darkseer in a lot of trouble. Oh no, looks like he's going to go down. Big vacuum away coming out. Nice kills. Anti-Mage ult, not enough to get the kill. Oh, this Darkseer living dangerously. Oh, Anti-Mage blinks in, but he might pay for that Cold Feet Ice Vortex. Do we have some sort of hacks play by the Batrider? Nope, nothing doing there. Oh, the blink in from the Bat. He wants this kill. He's not in range for the net, for the Flaming Lasso. So then Anti-Mage is going to get away. Weaver getting very close to that Lincoln Sphere. He'll be... Once he gets the Lincoln Sphere, it will block Fissure, it will block Enchantress Slow. The only reliable way they're going to have to lock him down is that, excuse me, that, what's it called? That Split Earth from the Leshrac. So, man, when I solo cast, for some reason, ability days are always hard to come by. But when I feel like this does not happen nearly as much when I dual cast. Either way. I guess that's one of my charms, right? So... Weaver getting close to Lincolns, I mentioned that. Let's see, is there any other item progression? Oh, Earthshaker's picked up a Blink Dagger. That's a pretty fast blink, I gotta say. What is his record? 1-0-5. Okay, Earthshaker's done a fantastic job. I've not been giving him enough credit. Not dying once against all these strong initiating heroes. It's quite impressive. Speaking of initiation, Bounty Hunter in a little bit of trouble here. Track going on Sandkid. Sandkid is food. 200 gold away from his blink. Did he? I think he had it there and he just hadn't bought it yet. Yeah, he did. Oh, that's so unfortunate. BKB coming out from Ken. He's going to walk away. Ken's picked up an Ultimate Orb. Radiant seemed to be farming a little bit better. Let's see, does the gold graph reflect it? Yeah, big gold advantage coming out. Well, what does mith-trust do to come back now? I think that is the question. And yeah, it is a comeback situation. Even though they had a stronger early game lineup and a better start, they have not really been performing the mid game. What they have going for them is team fight and initiation. They've got Ancient Apparition, great team fight. They've got Sand King, great team fight. I guess you wait for the Sand King to get the Blink Dagger, and then you gotta go all in with the ganks. You can't just keep on spreading out. This is what the Radiant want to do. They want Anti-Mage to farm one side of the map. They want Bounty Hunter to be picking off stragglers. They don't want a team fight. I mean, they've got Earthshaker, they've got Leshrac, that's decent team fight, but it's not amazing. It's certainly not as good as an Ancient Apparition, Sand King, Batrider, and Weaver, Darkseer. I mean, that's way more team fight for mith-trust. Blink Initiation from Batrider, Flaming Elastic going on Enchantress. Looks like Weaver just running around, not really right-clicking anything. Enchantress so hard to bring down. In fact, Batrider goes down, so a 4-3 team fight. Big vacuum, big wall to follow. Ancient Apparition ult just missing. I think Earthshaker's going to be dropping here. Is he going to be able to blink away? 1 second. Nope, not able to blink away. He's going to go down. Will Enchantress get caught out? The heal is on cooldown. He's actually going to get away. So in the end, it was a 1-for-1 trade. Gotta say that strongly favors the Radiant. The wall was used, the Ancient Apparition ult was used, the Batrider ult was used, and all you got was an Earthshaker who's already got his Blink Dagger. So at this point, I mean, Earthshaker really doesn't care about his item progression beyond this point. If he can, he'll get a Ghost Scepter, a Force Staff, a Drum, something cheap to help him tank up and survive, but he doesn't need anything else. So they're making the right, you know, that they're on the right path here with trying to set up these ganks. They just have not been as effective as I would expect, and honestly, that goes back to the Radiant being pretty difficult to kill, at least with their core heroes. You know, the Bounty Hunter, of course, very difficult to kill between that move speed and the invisibility. Anti-Mage, you all know he's hard to kill, I don't need to explain that to you. And Enchantress, surprisingly, is pretty hard to kill if you don't have the burst. If they had one more hero there, like the Sand King, most likely would have seen the kill come out. But he was farming his blink. Speaking of that blink, he's got it now. To me, this is a time to force a team fight at Roshan. Maybe go for the Roshan. If not, do that, then smoke up. Speaking of smoke, they are going to smoke up now. Head towards the middle lane. Anti-Mage already level 16. Picking up the ultimate orb. He's got another 2,000 gold. So he's rushing the Manta style. And it's a good choice because they didn't gank him during that 4 or 5 minute window when he was just sitting on his power trades and Battle Fury. They ganked him a few times early, then for whatever reason they didn't do it in the mid game. And it is still the mid game, but now he's getting a lot harder to kill with that ultimate orb. Blink initiation on Ken. Can't beat KB if you're permanently stunned. Epicenter to follow as well. Epicenter gets cancelled. Leshrac doing a ton of damage here. Actually, not that much. He's going to go down. Bounty Hunter TP's in. Looks like Sand King in some trouble. He's going to get dusted. He's going to go down. Bounty Hunter going to go down. Big Echo Slam from Earthshaker. Nobody really dropping here yet for the Dire. Only the Sand King. 2 for 1 in the end. A lot of ultimates were used. Anti-Mage, meanwhile, split pushing top. Sure, you win the team fight, you might get this tier 2, but Anti-Mage is going to make you pay for that. No, just kidding. Weaver comes in. He's got another 1,800 gold on top of that Linken's, but again, Anti-Mage almost has that Manta style. As the game goes later and later, I gotta say, it favors Anti-Mage. He's just a better carry than the Weaver. He's a lot harder to kill. He does more damage. His illusions are just so good for pushing. And Weaver's gone? Oh, sorry, I missed that. Looks like Batrider got picked off on the bottom lane. Huh. Looks, I guess a Fissure plus some Impetus is going to be enough to get that kill. Big mistake by mith-trust. I mean, you win a team fight and then you give away a kill, so now it's an even situation. And you can't be breaking even because all this time Anti-Mage is farming. I think he just picked up his Yasha on the Courier, so he's only going to need 100 more gold for that Manta style. Yep, Yasha was picked up. Let's take another look at item progression here. Ogre Axe on Bounty Hunter, he's going to be going for BKB. I like that choice. Very cheap items from the Bounty Hunter, and I love the fact that he's picked up Sentry Wards. I mean, you might be wondering, well, you have Track, do you really need Sentry Wards? The truth is, yes you do, because Weaver can time-lapse them. Sand King, of course, if he's in Burrow, or if he's in Sandstorm, you're not going to be able to track him. But if you have the Sentry Wards, you can. So, looks like the Kane might be looking to set up a gank mid. He's probably going to need at least one other ally to make this happen. Track to initiate, Shuriken to follow, and then the Kane backs off. Very annoying play from the Bounty Hunter. Sometimes Bounty Hunter contributes just by being on the map, you know, or even just tracking a hero. He doesn't always have to be getting kills, because now you have to worry about being by yourself. He's not that farm, but he can still solo kill, you know, he can solo kill the Engi Apparition. He can solo kill the Sand King, although it's a little bit harder. Action on the top lane. Looks like Lakel's in a lot of trouble. That Linken's paying off big time there. It's going to allow him to escape, but still, I mean, you see, Anti-Mage can out-damage this Weaver right now. Is he going to go for Radiance? I feel like it's a little bit late. The test of whether or not Radiance is going to be useful is just to take a look at the enemy team. Are their supports getting tanky? Well, Radiance is not going to do anything for you against Leshrac, aside from the plus damage. It'll be okay versus the Earthshaker, but you don't really want to run next to him too much. There's a lot of disables. Anti-Mage, he's got the Mana Shield. Radiance not going to be super effective. Enchantress, she's fairly squishy. Bounty Hunter, not that squishy. I mean, he's kind of, but he's also pretty hard to track down. I don't think Radiance is a great choice here. I would prefer to see just some raw damage. Maybe an MKB, maybe a Bariza, or excuse me, a Daedalus. Radiance is not that effective if the enemy team is getting good farm on their supports. Anti-Mage already up to level 17. So that fast Battle Fury, not only does it let you get more gold, it lets you kill more creeps faster, which leads to more experience. Nicely played by AEON. I have to say they're playing the game that their lineup wants to be playing. And that's all you can really ask out of any team. mith-trust, meanwhile, they're on the back foot. They just can't find the openings. And a lot of credit has to go to the Bounty Hunter for that. Of course, the Anti-Mage Battle Fury is pretty good against early game or not early game pressure, but if you want to be aggressive in the mid game, but all your lanes are getting pushed, it's very difficult to do so.
Radiant's bottom tower is...
Alright guys, I am back. I apologize for the delay. Just kidding. None of you are going to have to see that. So used to live casting right now. Oh, Batrider initiation on the Anti-Mage, but he's not sure which the real one is. He does bite him. Epicenter as well. It's only going to bring Anti-Mage down to half HP, and he's just going to skate on out of there. Man, Anti-Mage so hard to bring down. 1,600 health, but it might as well be like 2,200 just from, you know, how strong that Magic Shield is. Or Mana Shield, excuse me. In terms of the Radiant, their other heroes, not too much in the way of item progression. Leshrac is looking, I'm guessing this is going to be a Hex. That would make sense. I suppose it could be a Lincoln Sphere, but I doubt we'll see that. As they are lacking a little bit in disables, especially reliable late game disables, which you need against the Weaver. Lakel's getting very close to that relic in spite of the failed gank top. He is farming quite well, but Anti-Mage up to 198, Weaver only at 180. You just can't out-farm an Anti-Mage with a Battle Fury. It's not going to happen. I mean, maybe if you're a Lycan in the, you can out-farm him because of a great early start. Or maybe a Syllabare, but all things being equal, it's not going to work in mid-game. Icy Vortex, Blade Break actually pushing him away, but Burrow Strike just going to hit. H-Trap Personal to follow. Nice chain stun there. TNK well played with the AA ulti. Going to be able to clean that up. Push commencing on the bottom lane, meanwhile, for AEON. Yeah, you can see Lakel's forced to run away from Anti-Mage. He's finally got his Relic. I expect we'll see that purchase momentarily. I mean, I assume he's going for Relic. I guess he doesn't have to, but there's no reason to hold on to this much gold otherwise. He's not in any rush to buy it, though, from the looks of it. Boy, if he dies without buying this Relic, that would be tragic. Tragic, to say like. Earthshaker, huge initiation! Oh, the chain stun, too strong! Hulk smash! Really, Hanged KYKY was the one delivering the Hulk smash there. Anti-Mage was just right-clicking. This Earthshaker, what an initiation. That was totally worth it. And he didn't buy the Relic. Oh my god. I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's rushing for something that costs more than 3,800 gold, which doesn't exist. Gonna full buy a Rapier or something like that. Hulk smash. Getting stunned, but as he blinks in, he's gonna drop the ultimate, but there's no damage here. They have no damage at all. Bad blink from Hulk smash. He's in a lot of trouble. Epicenter to follow. Finally, the Anti-Mage is gonna go down. Such greedy play coming up, honestly, from AEON. And all their heroes were sort of rotating top, but not in range. In the end, what should have been a huge win for AEON. Hey, the Anti-Mage died too. Of course, he was not 200, or he's not, had the money for Relic and now he's short. He actually just had his item, so. What will Anti-Mage go for next? Looks like it'll be a heart. Pick up the Vitality Booster. A smart choice, this standard Anti-Mage item progression. Sometimes you go for Butterfly if they have more physical damage. But Weaver is the only physical damage for the Dire. They're primarily magical. Speaking of damage, they want to get... I've been saying that phrase way too much. I really gotta stop. Batrider goes in with the Flame Break, but they don't have detection. So they have one Sentry Ward. I guess they dusted him? Oh, Gem on the H-Trap version. That's how they saw him. Bounty Hunter just getting caught out of position time after time. Really wants that BKB. But he's still not that close to it. Things are actually not as dire for the Dire as I thought. Simply because until Bounty Hunter gets that BKB, he's just food in team fights.
Double damage.
The Enchantress is quite squishy as well. I mean, unless Earthshaker... Oops. Earthshaker and Leshrac get an amazing combo up, they're going to be able to keep on getting kills. Mith-Trust really looking to solidify their comeback. I mean, the gold graph slightly reflected. You can see a tiny dip there. But in the end, they're not going to get Leshrac. He is pretty hard to bring down with that BKB. 1300 HP. A little bit low in terms of armor, but hey, you're not up against much physical damage, so that really doesn't matter. I haven't looked at Darkseer. What has he picked up? Just a pipe. Standard Darkseer item selection. I like it. I mean, you're up against a lot of magical damage. At the same time, you're also up against an Anti-Mage. Why is it that whenever Anti-Mage is in a game, it just turns into a farm fest? I mean, like, of course I know why, but you'd think once in a while teams would just be a little bit more aggressive early, but they're trying to out-farm him. Weaver has picked up the Relic. Also another 1100 gold. Man, that was some ZSMJ farming. I feel like it was 2 minutes ago I was saying, well, he's still got to farm 200 for the Relic. Did a tower go down or something? No, I don't think so. Bounty Hunter leading his squad of gankers. But running into the H-Trap version with the Gem Fissure. Decent Fissure. But Initiation coming the other way. Echo Slam on 2. Decent Echo Slam. H-Trap version ult. Not going to hit anything. Wow, the Radiant just crushing this team fight right now. Nobody down for the Radiant. Everyone dying for the Dire. Weaver has the ult if he needs it. Darkseer finally joining the fray. So late for the fight. Weaver getting chain stun. Picked up the gem. He drops the gem. Huge loss for mith-Trust. They have the team fight advantage, but that was not a good fight to take. The Ancient Apparition ulti missed. The Sand Burst Strike only hit one hero. And then everyone grouped up around Earthshaker, so we got decent Echo Slam. Immediately into the Roshan pit they go. Nice map awareness, nice decision making by AEON, and frankly a little bit of luck thrown in there as well. But all the best victories built on the back, so some good luck in the mid game. This one, if they are to win it, certainly they're going to need a little more luck. Anti-Mage going to be picking up that Aegis. Another 2,300 gold. Pretty much running his own personal mint at this stage of the game. I hesitate to look at the gold graph. It's probably going to be ugly, but I got to do it for you guys. Yeah, big spike upwards. Doing the quick math here, it looks like it's over a 6,000 lead. Yeah, 6,500 lead. Getting close to 7,000, which is not the biggest difference in a longer game like this one. But you got to keep in mind, Weaver did not finish his Radiance before that team fight. So that's delayed again. Now we're looking at a 37-minute Radiance. This is why I'm not a big fan of Linked Sphere on Weaver, especially if you want to go for Radiance after it. Because it slows down your Radiance by so much. If you want survivability, I personally think a Vitality Booster is a lot better. Or maybe a Hood of Defiance. And if you really want a Fit Booster as well. This is just the Weaver. The farm is so delayed. By the time you get the Radiance, Anti-Age is going to have a heart, and he's really not going to care too much about your Radiance. Well, he won't quite have a heart, but he'll be pretty close. Let's see, are there any other items being picked up? Enchantress with the Aghanims. She's pretty farm. Earthshaker did collect that gem in the last team fight. Hex is up on Ken. AEON looking very strong right now. They actually may be able to win a big team fight. I'm guessing they want to let Anti-Mage get that heart, and then I expect to see them go for a team fight. But they have the items to do it. All the supports are reasonably farm. Earthshaker with a Yules. Huh. I thought that would be a Force Staff. Yule's not a bad choice either. You can throw Sand King up in there. It gives you another way to help cancel his Epicenter. Also, if Batrider blinks in, you can just throw him up in the air. Of course, you can throw yourself up in the air if you get initiated on. And then if they try to surround you, well, you drop the Echo Slam as soon as you drop. Oh, a bunch of heroes smoked up. Huge team fight. Bring out BKB immediately popped by Ken. He's got the Pulse Nova on. He's got the Edict on doing a decent amount of damage. Vacuum Wall did not really hit anything. Echo Slam on, what was that, on 1. Sand King goes down, did not get the Epi off in the team fight. Batrider focusing Ken. Ken will go down, but he's drawn a lot of attention towards himself. The chase going the other way. Hulk Smash doing a lot of damage. Anti-Mage in the thick of things. Lakel's just not having that. Oh my god, that Anti-Mage ultimate hit so hard. Lakel's, oh, the Lincoln's gonna save him. In the end, it looks like it's gonna be a 3 for 2. No, a nice blink away there by Travava. I did not expect him to do that. It is gonna be 3 for 2 because poor TNK caught out at the tower. Cold Feet is gonna proc. Will it be enough damage for the tower? He's getting pretty low, folks. No, he's gonna be fine. Did they blow the Aegis at least? Nope, Aegis was not blown. Big win for AEON. I was gonna say, if they had gotten the Aegis off the Anti-Mage, it would have been an even fight. But if he survives with the Aegis and they win a 3 for 2, that's a huge victory. Epicenter was not even cast. It's gonna be very difficult for Sand King to get his Epis off at this stage of the game. Anti-Mage is so mobile, Bounty Hunter's so mobile, and without the gem, you have no way to guarantee to get them. Hulk Smash really wanted that tower. He's gonna pay for it. I don't think we'll see him die again. They need 4 heroes to bring him down, especially at this point. Yeah, he's gonna blink away. He should be fine. He's got the heart if he wants to buy it. They have all their outer towers, which means it's very unlikely that they're gonna get Rax, even if the Anti-Mage dies. So I think he can go ahead and purchase that. With the heart, he's pretty much unkillable without everyone stunning him. I mean, you're going to need the net, the Burrow Strike, the Vacuum, the Cold Feet. All of these spells must hit to burn down Anti-Mage. One thing that's worth pointing out... Whoa, H-Apparition is getting Chilling Touch. I totally did not notice this. Normally, you don't see H-Apparitions gain any points in it, let alone maxing it. This is very curious. I'll have to see in the next team fight if he uses it. The reason you don't normally get this spell is it is a lot of plus damage for your teammates, but it does nothing for you if they're except in a team fight, and you can't really count on being able to use it at the right time because H-Apparition is quite easy to pick up. Anti-Mage blinking in. Nice Fissure. Trapping out the Darkseer. Darkseer probably going to go down. Echo Slam hitting 2. It looks like TNK in trouble. Anti-Mage just going absolutely out of control. Balling the F out. They're going to be looking to push in the middle lane. Bounty Hunters picked up the BKB. Of course, BKB has been up on the track forever. A lot of heroes for AEON that can stand in the front lines. I mean, sure, their HP pools are not enormous aside from Anti-Mage, but you don't need an enormous HP pool against this dire lineup. They have no physical damage aside from Weaver, which honestly, Radiance is not that much. It's plus 60, it's decent, but at this point, it's just not enough. I mean, the armor values are pretty high on AEON. I would love to see them pick up a Vlad, maybe on the Earthshaker, just to give them a little more pushing power. Looks like the mid tower is going to go down here. The Swarm, decent anti-pushing normally, not going to do too much at this stage of the game. Tower being focused down. Edict as well. Looks like they're gonna get racked for sure here. Batrider blinks it on the Earthshaker. I like the choice, except he already blew the Echo. Batrider's gonna pay. Big Epicenter coming out from Sandkane. Wow, I didn't even notice him blink in there at first. Sandkane's gonna go down. Lakel's doing what he can, which is to say not a whole lot. He can probably slow down Hulk Smash, but he's got to be careful. HF Version Hulk's gonna hit. That might be the end of Hulk Smash. No, he's gonna be able to run away. So they have detection. Another gem was picked up from the looks of it. Or wait, no, the Earthshaker was holding the last one. So the King in a little bit of trouble here. No BKB. He could pop the drum. It's not gonna be enough to outrun a Weaver. That Chilling Touch actually giving him some decent damage. So hey, if you use it properly, it's not awful. It's just normally it's very situational. I've even seen pro teams like using Chilling Touch when they're going to Roshan, which is a major no-no, since all it does is makes your Roshan attempt slower. But hey, if you use it properly, it's a lot of damage. Well, after a very hectic back and forth, let's take another look at items. And gold. Big difference in gold. I mean, that is enormous. Holy crap. Yeah, they picked off the Bounty Hunter. And the graph just updating a little bit there. Yeah, over 15,000. That's what happens when you give up a Roshan. You lose a couple team fights. Nice deny from Nuts. I mean, of course, it's not the biggest deal at this point in the game, but still. They're just adding to that gold lead one step at a time. Add to sent another 4,000 gold. What will he go for? Butterfly would be the standard choice. The world is his oyster. I would not mind seeing a Basher in this game, just because they are a little bit lacky in terms of disabled. Especially if Earthshaker gets initiated on. And of course, Abyssal Blade is not a bad late game item. We'll see though. It's very nice against Weaver because you can lock him down, and if he's locked down, he's pretty easy to take down. This Weaver, so far behind. We saw at one point he was pretty even with the Anti-Mage, only 20 creeps behind. If we take a look now, it's 300 to 250. The creeps are even, but what's not even is everything else. The tower gold, of course the track bonus gold going the Anti-Mage's way, the Roshan gold. All these non-creep related advantages are so much in favor of the Radiant. I don't want to completely count the Dire out. It's looking pretty bleak though, to say the least. Experience scrap, over 15,000 difference in favor of the Radiant. Experience graph is not that important in this stage of the game. Once everyone hits level 16, in my opinion, experience is not that relevant. But for now, I mean, Anti-Mage, level 24, that's where the difference is really coming from. So far ahead of everyone. But I gotta say, I love this Bounty Hunter pick now. If the game goes longer like this, that heavy of Bounty Hunter really pays off because it gets all your supports a lot more farm. And we're seeing it this game. The supports are way more farm. You compare, let's say, for the Earthshaker, he's got a Blink Dagger, a Yule's, a Vitality Booster to the Sandkane, a Blink Dagger, and an Ogre Axe. That's a big difference. Of course, the Ancient Apparition, just Arcane Boots, basically. And then you look at, say, the Enchantress. Arcane Boots, Hood, almost gets a Pipe, and an Aghanim. That is a huge differential. So track really paying off, as well as just the pushing power. AEON got to force a high ground here. I thought maybe they would wait for Roshan, but they're not going to. Smoke goes out, immediately going to be kind of wasted here. Wildcat with the Tornado, pretty irrelevant at this point. Blink in on the King, interesting choice. I'm not sure he's the correct one to focus. Big Epicenter, hitting a couple of heroes, doing decent damage, but a lot of BKBs nullifying that damage. Anti-Mage right-clicking like a boss in this fight. He's getting pretty low though, he might need to back up soon. Is he gonna run away? He is gonna blink out. Weaver getting focused down. He's got the time lapse if he needs it. Impetus doing so much damage. In fact, I believe Enchantress is their primary damage dealer in this fight. Lakel's barely living the Mana Void, almost bringing him down, not quite enough. Chase going the other way. Not sure Ababa can chase this, but he's certainly going to try. No Surge from 3NU. He wants to have that off defensively. He is going to Surge. Anti-Mage ult is down. Anti-Mage is the Mantle style back. Looks like Bounty Hunter picks up a kill in HF version. This is now a very dangerous fight. These longer sustained fights are very hard to beat a Bounty Hunter and Anti-Mage in. They're too mobile. They can jump on you if you get slightly out of position. I mean, the Dire have decent positioning in terms of Sakuchi, in terms of the Blink Daggers, in terms of Surge. That's decent positioning, but it's not Blink. It's not permanent Windwalk. Do they still have their gem is the question. Yeah, Weaver did barely survive with that. Speaking of Weaver, he's up to another 4,000 gold. Question is, what will he go for? He needs survivability and he needs damage, and that's not a good situation to be in late game. There's a lot of pressure on this Weaver to carry. The Radiant have a lot of heroes who can do damage in teamfights. We saw even the Enchantress with that impetus. Quite tanky with the hood and just the natural tankiness from Untouchable, as well as the heal. And of course, doing good damage thanks to that Aghanims. Anti-Mage blinks in, tanks up a lot in the front lines, and then Enchantress sort of sits in the back, just constantly spamming impetus. Speaking of Enchantress, Courier gets killed! Did the Courier have the butterfly on it? Oh my god, it did! Can't believe I missed that. But the Courier with a completed butterfly picked off. What a huge pickoff! I cannot overstate this. This might almost be time to go back and rewind the replay, just so I can scream about that Courier dying. Oh my god, 6,300 gold down the drain for 3 minutes. That's a 12,000... Well, no, it's not a 12,000 gold swing because they don't get the gold. But that is a huge gold swing. So forget what this graph says. It's actually about here, which is still a big differential, let's be honest, but not as big. Looks like the Dire not smoked up, but looking for a team fight. Roshan is back up. Both teams are at the time down. Bounty Hunter leading the way. Cold V, BKB pop. Batrider is going to use the ult on a BKB here. Echo Slam, vacuum wall, doing so much damage. I cannot tell who's winning this fight yet. Ancient Apparition went down. It looks like Burrow Strike on 2. Big Burrow Strike coming out from Sand King. Lakel's still pretty healthy, but Anti-Mage just being such a beast in these fights. No track on the Weaver. He will be able to get out of there. Anti-Mage wants to go 1v1. If he had the butterfly, he'd probably be killing the Weaver right now. Speaking of that Weaver, this is where he can shine. He's getting very close to a kill here. Oh no! Oh, Anti-Mage, bad blink! Kind of missing an opportunity there to get a kill. Did anyone buy back from the Dire? Nobody bought back. Weaver still trying to get some kills here. He's got the gem mega kill for Lakel's. How is he winning this fight? I do not know. Batrider ult is down. They might be able to catch the Anti-Mage. Weaver just standing still for some odd reason. Looks like Anti-Mage will get away. If he had that butterfly in that team fight, that would have been a completely different fight. This is going to be Roshan for mith-trust. Will it be enough? Weaver will have he's got the heart. Of course, by the time Roshan is done and they look to push, Anti-Mage will have that butterfly because the Courier will be respawned. So you're still looking at a 1 item difference, maybe a half item difference. I say a difference because at this point, Linken's is not as useful as just the raw damage to the Battle Fury, which is really going to be the main difference separating these two. But that being said, I mean, it's still pretty good. This Weaver's pretty big. I don't want to undersell him too much. What's huge here, though, Darkseer's picked up an Aghanims. You're up against an Anti-Mage who does a lot of right-click damage. And now you're getting illusions of him, which, of course, he's got Manta. He'll have more illusions than you if all goes well. But, hey, you get one to fight for your side. If they pick up any R items, which I don't really think they have, maybe just the drums so far. Yeah, very smart play, actually, by the Radiant in terms of the item selection. They haven't picked up any R items except for the drums of the Bounty Hunter, which is not the biggest R to have. Plus, the Dire probably have one as well anyway.
Healing power.
How will the Dire choose to play this now is my question. Will they continue to farm? I mean, Anti-Mage is close to getting maxed. Once the Butterfly's back, then he's got another 3k in the bank. Yep, Butterfly is delivered, so he will have it for the next fight. Will he save for buyback? I assume he will at this point. He could get Boots of Travel. And then he's got room for one more item, or maybe an Aegis if the game goes another 10 minutes. This is getting to epic late game theory crafting time, guys. So, you know, this is the point where, hey, open up the shop, and I'm actually gonna do it. Let's look at all the items. Is there anything that's gonna be like game-breakingly good right now? I mean, I guess you could say, in my opinion, maybe a Hex would be the way to go. That'll help you bring down the, for both teams really. I think Weaver's got a little more disable from his allies. But in terms of the Anti-Mage, I would not mind seeing him go for late game Hex. It's not that uncommon on Anti-Mage. And I think in this situation, it would be quite good to lock down the Weaver. Or even the Sand King or the Darkseer. You know, just give you a little bit more reliable disable in these team fights. Then you have 2 Hexes. You've got a bunch of BKBs. You've got an Earthshaker with the Yules. I mean, that's a lot of crowd control. You pick off heroes one at a time. And you've got the heroes to be doing pickoffs in team fights. Speaking of pickoffs, Ken might be in for some trouble here. Weaver going in very aggressively. He's got the gem. He sees there are 2. The bug's going out. He's going to focus on Ken. Ken taking a lot of damage. Pops the BKB. He wants to TP out. Will they be able to stop him? No, they will not. The chase continues. The King in a decent amount of trouble here. Oh, nice blink in. Batrider roll. Big pickoff here. Does the King of buyback is the question. He does. 3,400 gold in the bank. Anti-Mage meanwhile split pushing down that bottom lane. chase continuing. Big burrow string. Oh, Earthshaker gets caught. This is huge. He just bought a Vanguard. He does not have buyback.
Best place on earth for you.
Man, I don't agree with that decision to buy the Vanguard. Of course, easy for me to say now, but I mean, a Vanguard just doesn't do that much for you at this point in the game. Anti-Mage pressuring the top lane, forces back 3 TPs, and that's going to put an end to any aspirations on the Dire side of pushing. It's not going to put an end to their aspirations of winning the game, though. That was overall a great engagement for them. A couple of key kills. And nobody died. They still have the Aegis. Gotta say, big win for mith-trust here.
Radiant structures are fortified.
As I continue to frantically sip water and eat cold drops. Yes, I am eating them at this point. Just to try and keep my throat in good condition for casting. So I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm drinking too much caffeine or something, and I guess that does dehydrate you a little bit. So Anti-Mage maybe going to be initiated on here. Batrider blinks in, drops the ult. Do they have the damage? Is the question. They need another disabled Burrow Strike in range. It does hit. AEON was removed by Manstyle. They just don't have enough damage. This is where you really want like 2 more big stuns, and this is where I think a Hex would be nice. If the Weaver had a Hex, they probably would have been able to bring Anti-Mage down.
I'm on the mend.
Because when you think about a late game Hex, it's not just that extra disable. It's also the fact that it gives your other disables a chance to cool down. So by the time the Hex wears off, you know, maybe the Cold Feet's back up, maybe the Flame Break's back up, maybe the Vacuum's back up, maybe the Burrow Strike's back up. Initiation on the middle lane. Darkseer going to be running for his life. He is pretty hard to take down. What a time to pause. Oh my god. Alright guys, we are back. We're unpausing. That was a really long pause, by the way. Weaver in the middle of the Radiant lineup. This is probably going to be an Aegis down, or is it? No, he's just too hard to bring down. Nicely played by Lakels, I suppose, getting out of there. He's got 4,700 gold in the bank. Hastered up on the Sand King. Weaver forced to drop the ultimate. Of course, it is a very short cooldown at level 3, only 40 seconds. So that will be up for the next team fight as long as they stay back. Yeah, for anyone who's wondering, because I did edit the pause out of the recording. That was like a 10-minute, 15-minute pause. And what a time to be paused in the middle of what looked like a huge team fight about to break out. As mith-trust goes for the smoke here. Goes for the smoke here. Nope, not gonna smoke. Just gotta blindly walk up this hill and hope it's not warded. That is a little strange. But I guess they do see a couple Radiant heroes on the map farming. Of course, they don't know if they were spotted, so it's a little odd to try and force a team fight. Flamebreak gonna be doing a little bit of scouting. Not gonna find anything. This is what mith-trust needs to be doing, though. They really need to get a pick-off in order to win a team fight. I mean, while the Radiant did not have the best early-game team fight, their late-game team fight is quite strong. Earthshaker with Blink, incredibly potent team fighter. Anti-Mage, actually a decent team fighter, because he can stand in the thick of things, and he does so much damage. He also forces heroes to run, because they don't want to lose all their mana. Strong team fighter as well. Leshrac, of course, with the BKB and the Hex. You gotta say this guy's a strong team fighter. Speaking of Leshrac, man, he's picked up a Linken's as well. Big item progression for him. Especially considering he's been dying a lot in the recent fights, or at least running for his life. He is 4 and 7, but, you know, 227 creeps. Plenty of farm to go around, all in all, for AEON, thanks to that Bounty Hunter track gold. Bounty Hunter's picked up Vlad's. I love this choice. This is fantastic. Gonna make the Anti-Mage so much stronger. You know, it's not about buffing yourself. It's not even about the lifesteal for yourself. It's about the plus damage and the lifesteal for the Anti-Mage. Speaking of that Anti-Mage, he's going to be Hulk smash his way towards the Racked. Going to be initiated on the Weaver. Don't think we're going to see the Weaver go down. Also don't think we're going to see the Anti-Mage die yet. He blinks out once. He should be just fine. Look at that mana burn. Lakel should really backtrack that. Or, excuse me, time-lapse that. Okay, guess he's not going to. Lakel's has another 5,600 gold. What will he go for? Will he go for the late game Hex like I was suggesting? He is their only damage, so maybe he will go for an MKB, maybe he'll go for crits. Maybe he'll go for a late game Rapier. I mean, you've got the Aegis. This would be a good time to do it. And I'm starting to think that is the best option, actually. Because you need something big to win a team fight. And, I mean, look how hard that Anti-Mage is to bring down. If you had a Rapier, you're basically doubling the Weaver's damage. Oh, he's taking a decent amount of mana burn here. Batrider BKB blinks in. Who is he going to ult? He hasn't ulted anyone yet. Ulting nobody? Batrider click on... Oh, he did ult someone. I'm not sure who it was, though. Looks like he didn't really do anything with the Anti-Mage in the front lines, doing a bunch of damage. Double kill for the Anti-Mage. Hulk smash his way to victory. Lakel's probably wishing he had another item here. Epicenter could be huge. Gonna hit 2, gonna hit 3. Vacuum man, wall, everyone dying. Echo slam. Oh my god. Oh, so much damage coming from the Radiant, or from the Dire, but just not enough. My throat literally could not take so much awesome in one team fight. As I started coughing, even while eating a cough drop. Holy crap. Oh, big vacuum in again. The age is just huge there. Well, now he's got the money for the rapier, but do you buy it is the question. Buyback is up on the bounty hunter. Buyback is up on only the bounty hunter. Huh? This could be bad. The Dire don't really buy back either though. This is the poorest ancient apparition you will ever see. This is a very sad, sad Frost man. Poor guy. It looks like he started to buy something. It's gonna be a butterfly. You disappoint me, Lacels. I can't argue with the choice. There's no MKB up. Oh my god, anti-mage 9,000 gold. What did he sell? What was that? Oh, he sold his treads. Just buy a rapier, man. Go big or go home. And you cleave that stuff too. Oh man, this anti-mage hitting so hard. Weaver is gonna time lapse. It's gonna run away. Yeah, I mean Weaver just cannot stand toe to toe to this 9,000 gold anti-mage. We've still got 6,000 in the bank. After buying a Sacred Relic, you will never see an anti-mage this farm. Dare I say. I mean, of course, it's not like 500 creeps, 57 minutes, almost 10 per minute. Pretty fantastic stuff. I guess it's more like 9 per minute. He's running out of inventory slots though. Goes for the Abyssal Blade. Should have buyback. Yeah, he's got the buyback. Abyssal Blade though, I mean, is it the best choice here? Or are you better off going for Rapier? Probably not a good idea to get the Rapier when you don't have the Aegis. We'll see what he does if he ends up getting one though. It's possible he'll sell something. Scouting out Roshan is going to be leading the way very aggressively. Gets forced up on the high ground. Initiation on Lakel. Abyssal Blade to start. Batrider looking for the real anti-mage. He dies trying to find it almost immediately. Weaver wicked sick, picking off the supports in the back lines. He's chasing them down quite effectively. Anti-mage trying to do the same for his side. Weaver though getting stunned a little bit, taking some infinite damage. He's forced to time lapse out. Chase continuing. Are we gonna see a wall? No, he gets bashed! Epicenter doing decent damage, not enough though. Lakel's on the retreat. Oh man, that was so unfortunate. No vacuum, no wall. He got bashed mid-animation. Brutal timing. Roshan is still not up. Both teams going to be scouting it anyway. Weaver another 3,000 gold. Buyback from the bounty hunter. They really want to end the game now. Is there buyback on the Dire? Looks like Darkseer has it. Nobody else though. Unless it's on cooldown for him. I think he used it earlier, but I'm not sure how much earlier. Hex, Bash, Blinken, Initiation. Are we going to see Lakelis go down? He is going to drop. Does he have buyback? He does. Immediate buyback. They're going to continue pushing though. They're really not afraid. Can't say I disagree. Hulk Smash just way too big at this point. Lakel should have gone for that Rapier, man. Might have won you the game. I mean, I actually don't know that it would have, but it would have given them a fighting chance. And the late game Abyssal Blade, we're seeing the power of that. Yeah, so crucial. If Darkseer got his wall vacuum up, that fight would have been completely differently because those illusions plus a Weaver with decent AoE damage chasing everyone in the team fight can just murder you. Well, that combination is brutal, and also we saw the Epicenter did land on 2 heroes. Aegis goes the way of Ken. I like this choice. I mean, first of all, Anti-Mage can't carry it. Secondly, he doesn't really need it. He's immortal. We've seen how hard he is to bring down in these fights. Cheese up on the bounty hunter. He's pretty hard to kill. Not immortal, but stretch of the imagination. But hey, I'll take a bounty hunter with this amount of farm, considering that he was just roaming from level 2. This is the power of a bounty hunter. He'll find the gold at some point, no matter what, unless he just dies 20 times. And you know, 11 assists, 7 kills. Who cares that he died 11 times? He's getting a lot more gold than he's losing. Gold graph, I hesitate to look. It's not the biggest lead for late game, but 20,000 gold lead is still pretty significant. The XP graph, or XP graph, as we approach this final confrontation in the top lane, pretty strong. Any other notable late game item pickups? Batrider to 4-stab, I think he got that earlier. Darkseer going for a Hex, not going to be in time from the looks of it. Nothing else up on the Weaver, as he was forced to buy back. He's running around, but Pushi's not going to do enough. Oh, Abyssal Blade to initiate, Hex to follow. Oh, is Weaver going to go down? He doesn't have buyback. He does! Late wall, late vacuum, not going to be enough. This should be the game. Hulk Smash simply too hulkish at this point. Traba going to go down. Looks like Sand King will be next to follow. TNK, as soon as he gets spotted on the minimap, he's dead as well. No, Echo Slam doing decent damage. Darkseer trying to do what he can, not enough in the end though. I didn't even see it, but I saw the number of creeps, so I know it did decent damage. Plus, you're up against the illusion. Buyback from Darkseer. Man, I can't say I'm surprised that Anti-Mage carried this game, but mith-trust showed some signs of life. I gotta criticize their overall game approach though. Not only in terms of the strategy, but also the item selection. What are you thinking going to Lincoln's against a free farm Anti-Mage who's got a 12-minute Battle Fury, and then you farm up until like the 25-minute mark after getting some early kills on Anti-Mage. You let him get back into the game. You let him go for a Manta style. He didn't even have to buy a Vitality Booster first. Just a couple more fountain kills coming out. So I don't agree with the way that mith-trust played this at all in the mid game and early game. But despite what I would argue is a poor strategy for beating a free farm anti-mage, they did make it quite a competitive game. They made it interesting to watch. But you just can't outfarm anti-mage, especially not late game. You got to push down towers early. If he rushes a Battle Fury, you got to punish him, and they didn't. All in all, well played by mith-trust, but better played by AEON. Game was good, in the words of a famous Dota philosopher. I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. I haven't been casting as much recently, so if it wasn't up to my usual standards, whatever those might be, I apologize. But I'm getting back into the swing of things. I will be casting more. If there's any really exciting games that you watch that you want to see me cast, let me know. I can get the replays for most of those games. I'll be live casting for the Pro Dota 2 Asia Non-Pro League tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. That'll be at 7 p.m. Singapore General Time, or SGT. I believe that's what it stands for. And 7 a.m. my time, which is US Eastern Time. So you can do the math from there. I will be advertising my Twitter and Facebook when I'm going live. So that's it for now, guys. Look forward to some more live casts and some more replay casts. I'm also looking to do more Get in That Ass Larry episodes here and there. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed the game. It was exciting, to say the least. And again, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.